Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the new streamingnetwork.com, home of Going Bold, and of course, Link to Expert Good Reads Author's Corner. I am just one of your hosts. I'm Cece Schatz, the doyenne of relationship building, and I have my good friend here with me, Joanne Weiland. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Joanne.
Joanne Weiland, Wide Land When You Can Fly. I am the founder of LinktoEXPERT, the collaborative cloud community. So when you want to find an expert and check out all their credentials and hire them in minutes, go to linktoexpert.com. Thank you, Cece.
Yeah, absolutely. Those of you, if you don't know Link to Expert, shame on you. You got to go check it out. It's called linktoexpert.com. If you're in business, you need to be on that platform. Well, let's go on to our, exciting topic here today. I am excited about this author. Let's bring him up. And would you do the honors here, Joanne, and introduce him?
Yes. Welcome, Dr. Dennis Louden. We're so thrilled to have you on the show. Dennis and I actually ran into each other. We were both doing our thing. He was riding his bike. I was doing my walking down at the Safety Harbor Marina, and we just clicked right away. I'm like, would you like to be on our show? Because he has so much information to share us to have what I call a much more well-rounded life. He really helps us to learn about how the connection between mind, body, and spirit. And so, Dennis, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited. We had a good time on the water, just talking. I still want to purchase your car. That's where it started because yes,
That's right. I forgot about that.
right. The Mercedes-Benz is the older model. I'm like, I'm looking for that. So that's where it all started. But anyway, my name is Dr. Louden, and I'm a pretty much open person, and I'm very excited to have this opportunity to talk about who I am and share with the public about some of the things that changed my life. One of the things I'd like to start out with, I grew up on a farm up in the state of Michigan, and my father retired and came to the state of Florida. And that was a whole different dynamic coming from a farm into a city. And it was really tough for me as a kid. I had to make some really tough choices about who I am and the way I was going to carry myself in the public school system. And back in the 70s, there was a lot going on in America at that time between the integration and things like that. We have to talk about it. That's what made me take a look at that and say, I really need to take a look at this and change my life and make it work for the betterment of my future. So I stopped there for a second. Sure. Go ahead, please.
No, that's what I would love to know more about, like how you got into all this, helping so many people with their health as well as their mental
Sure.
attitude, and to be able to, I call it, be all they're designed to be. So yes, we would love to learn more. So keep going.
Sure. Yeah, one of the first things that I noticed in my family is a lot of my family members had a lot of problem with alcoholism as well as diabetes. And it was pretty horrific to see family member die at the age of 60, 65, and in that realm because they didn't have the knowledge about diabetes. The other thing is in my family tree, it came down to the point that a lot of people just didn't have the self-confidence and what it would take to be successful. As a child, I was a little bit different. I read a lot of books. That's what helped me starting out. And I began to see the world much bigger than where I came from. Even though I was on a farm, I read books from overseas, books about people that were successful. And my first book that changed my life was the book, the African American cyclist named Major Taylor in the 1830s. He was a speed cyclist. And, I never heard about this guy. And I started doing my research on Major Taylor, and I found out that this guy was really a good cyclist. But, unfortunately, he was not well known in our society. So guess what happened? I found a bike in a barn that was the same exact bike that he rode on that someone had in the back of a barn.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I looked at the bike and I said, wow, this is good. So let me fix this bike up. And I fixed it up. And I just started riding. People like, oh, why would you want to ride that old bike? I'm like, because this is a famous model of the bike. And so I fell in love with biking at that time. And that created something in me, a drive to want to do something greater as a child and to accomplish something. And if I wasn't riding my bike, I was reading. If I wasn't reading, I was running. And those three combination together shifted my life.
Mhm.
So I was able to do things that other kids just didn't want to do, or they thought I was a nerd, or I just did it because it made me happy. Running, riding a bike, and reading.
Wow.
So when I went back to school in the 70s at that time, telling on my age, if you probably remember, there was an incident where there was something called brown eyes, blue eyes. There was an experience going on during that period. I was happened to be one of those kids in the classroom. And I thought about that for a minute. And that experience gave me confidence, like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's all what you do. It's all about changing yourself from the inside. People are going to spend the rest of their life judging me and making decisions. I don't have to be angry. All I need to do is make sure I do things that are respectable and give back to others. And the more I read books, I began to realize most people that was great, it wasn't about money and power, it's about what their sense of service.
Mm.
You know,
I
like that.
agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, I have to stop you because I just have
Okay,
to
good, good.
I have to know, where in Michigan are you from? I'm from
Oh, you had the answer. No, no question.
in my head. I can't get that out of my head. So
All
where are you
right.
from in Michigan?
If you're looking on a map, there's a small town called Sodas, Michigan. Sodas, Michigan.
Michigan.
SODAS.
Okay.
All right. And then, of course, I lived in the northern part of Michigan at the top in little small towns there, close to Indian reservations and things like that, because my father was a farmer and a contractor. So he moved around in Michigan a lot back in the day. But
Yeah.
yeah, Sodas, Michigan, I had
So
to
you're up here and
walk to school.
I'm down.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm down here. So yeah, we were close to like Indiana, so I was born in
Indiana.
Elkhart, Indiana. So yeah, but I just had to ask you. But and I agree with that about reading. I think that if we're reading when we're young, and I hope that the young people here will listen to this because I think that it's very important. It allows you to really open your mind to what the possibilities could very well be. And I often say, fill your own well first, and keep reading. You need to read books, and you need to,
Right.
watch things that will change your life, and surround yourself with people that will also inspire you to be better than what you could possibly be, just to keep striving for the best that you can be. And I agree with that. So what is this beyond the shadows of procrastination? Because I know I am really bad at that procrastination.
Okay. All right. Well, it all started because I was in the Marine Corps. As you can see, I have that soldier personality. I was
Yeah.
a U.S. Marine. I was very fortunate to be around some of the best Marines in the 80s during that period. And there was a lot of responsibilities I had at such a young age. It was unique. I'm 19, 20, 21, and here I'm in charge of all these responsibility. It put me in a position to realize either you get it done or you don't. There's no middle ground of procrastination. That's just the way Marine Corps think. Hey, don't sit here and cry about it. You got to get it done. So that's where it really all came together. Second part of this is because I was a marathon runner, it was perfect for me. I wanted to go to the Olympics, and the Marine Corps gave me an opportunity in the 1980s to train for the Olympics. And so I went to Quantico and saw a lot of athletes around the country. Even though I didn't make the Olympics in the 1980 because it was canceled in the 1980s because there was an incident between America and Russia. So I tried one more time, which was in 1984. And unfortunately, I ended up being injured. Now, let's talk about how this make the book come together.
Yeah.
I didn't lose any skills in thinking. Actually, it developed me to understand that life is about not procrastinating, get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I left the Marine Corps, what was awkward for me is going back to school. is people really wasted a lot of time. They had a lot of dreams, but they never followed through. They were worried about what other people think, how they feel. So many people need approval. That's the part that really blew me away. You got to get approval just to do something. I can't think like that. So I started thinking when I wrote my book, maybe I should teach people or give them the key to realize most people have everything already inside. Just knowing how to tap into it and get it out. All right. And if you can get it out, you'll be surprised what you can do. It's just you can't let the negativity get in your head and spin around and tell you you're not good enough and keep telling you, oh, it's not right, it's not perfect, I need somebody approval. And so that's what created the book. After a few years, I started saying to myself, we need to write a book to help particularly young men to realize that you're not a failure. It's just there are other people telling you that, and you fall trapped to these beliefs, and that's when I started writing the book.
Okay, let's see that book. Let me let's bring that up here.
And the title is, as you can see, Change the Mindsets of Modern Culture, Rise from the Shadow. And the book was dedicated to my stepfather who died from cancer. And I told him before he passed away, I will get the book done. And if you go through the book itself, it talks about different situations and what famous people talk about how to overcome those difficult situations that we happen to have in life every day. I mean, things are going to happen in life, but like she said, get people around you that can support you. I try so hard every day to stay away from negative people and find people that I can get the right support to help me to stay motivated. And so doing that, that's what helped me to decide to go ahead and finish this book up.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And, and just to relax a little bit, every chapter in this book have something at the end. Like I say, take the action.
Yeah, I love that you put the workbook in.
Take the action. Just do it. Here's action number. This one here is number 8, and there's a statement someone said that was famous. This is, if you do this here so many days, of course, a lot of information out there, but try to do something different every day. You'll be surprised in 365 days, you can change your whole life. And that's the way I am as a human being. Every day, I'm either riding my bike, I'm trying to change me. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm just trying to change me. And if it reflects on someone else, then I did what I was supposed to do. That's just my human nature of being a person in humanity. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, you're not at all. And because I really believe that. I actually even have this thing that I never go home the same way I came. I try to wear weird things that I never wore before. Like, just as an example, I always wear socks with my sneakers. So I try to, some days go without socks. I mean, eat new food. When I go to a restaurant, I love to order something I never ate.
And she does do this. Believe me, I'm her friend. So she does.
Because I feel like it keeps your mind open to possibilities versus just being stuck in your little tunnel. And I appreciate, Dr. Louden, that you encourage people to do that. And I love it that for 365 days, I mean, even if it's as simple as walking backwards when you're going for your walk is one of the other things I do, because you can see it from a new perspective. I mean, whatever it is, just try something new.
There it is right there, what you just said.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Oh, now we can.
Yeah, we go.
You improve your life by 1% every day. Within a year, you will have improved your life by 365%. Very cool.
I love that.
Yeah. And I have that on a plaque. My friends have it at their office, have it everywhere. People just take them from me like, hey, can I have that? And they put it in an office. And if you like one, I'll send you one free too, because they are very powerful to think outside the box. Like, for example, what you just said, if you just walk out the door and do something different, just say hello to a neighbor or change the paradigm shift, you'll be surprised how it would change you.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
always
you
call
never
it shake
know
it
who you're
up.
going to meet.
What
Sorry.
you call it?
I always call it shake it up. Do
Yeah, shake
something
it up.
different. Shake it
Yeah,
up.
shake it up.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
agree. It is so true. And the thing is, we are really, we can orchestrate our life, right? But
absolutely.
we have to have the mindset to do it. And
Yes,
so often we get that, thinking type of thing going on, right? And
absolutely.
we can definitely orchestrate our life. And there's, like you said, there's certain things that you do want to do. You don't want to be negative. You don't want to be around negative people. You want to think positive. You do need to, put a plan together for yourself so you
Mhm.
be able to continue on. But there's
Right.
some things that I think your book is really fabulous. So Arise from the Shadows. So you can purchase that on Amazon, everyone. So, we want you to flood out there immediately and get the book, but wait till after the show.
Yes. And
Thank
I
you.
also think it's so important the titles to get people to buy your book. And I love the title. Dr. Loudon, how did you come up with Arise from the Shadows? I mean, is that something that you heard before?
Yes. I read a book at the age of 12 by an author. Let me see if I can get it. It's been a long time. He passed away. So give me a second. Anyway, it was called, the name of the book was, you asked the question, but I
Um,
put it off my head. So 1
okay.
second. But anyway, the book really saddened me when I read it. It was about this kid who wanted to be different. He went to his job and people didn't like him because he didn't follow the crowd. He went to his community. His community was a certain way and they rejected him. And at the end, he had become his own person, and that what saved him. And that book really had an impact. Almost, why can't I get that book?
But
Because anyway,
yeah,
it's by Ralph Ellington. I think that's it.
okay,
Okay, I need to look it up, but we'll get it in a second.
yeah,
That book really made me see in our society that we need to take a look at humanity and just care a little bit more, because this kid, all he was trying to do is connect, and people reject him because he didn't fit in the mold. And that's how I ended up naming this book, similar to the title of his book.
Good.
It was pretty close to it. And because my life was in a shadow and I understood, but I wasn't going to give up what I was doing to not be happy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really a positive, because I was helping more people than the people that said they had the answer. Isn't that kind of strange?
yeah.
Everybody had the answer, but I was just being myself. And people would come to me and ask me questions. Well, how do you do that? Well, first of all, I'm not hanging out with that crowd. I'm not doing these things. I'm not afraid anymore. I have my sense of fear went away, and I was able to create and love myself. And I'm no different than you are. It's just that certain thing I just don't do just to get approval, and I was fine.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
so yeah.
And
So
it's really true because, like, where I grew up, the thing was, don't do anything out of the norm because
mhm,
people will think you're it.
mhm.
What is it? I don't know, but I just know that I had to overcome that stinking thinking of being
Thinking,
okay with
thinking. I
being
love
me and being
that.
unique and not worrying if people think I'm it, because I am it. Everybody's it.
No, you
Uh,
would.
So I'm sorry,
No, I said I agree 100%.
but
yeah.
you just have to give yourself permission to be all you're designed to be. Otherwise, you're going to just live in the shadows like you're talking about. So, yes.
And that's why it's called changing the shadow. I'm talking about myself. I had to change the way I think to be much more successful in my biking and business, with students, with people, relationships. I had to get out of those shadows
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'd
and
love to talk
sit
to you
in
after.
the sunshine for a change and enjoy it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Enjoy. That's huge.
that's
And
true. So when we come back, why don't we talk about change? Because everybody's afraid of that, right?
Yes, they
But
are.
actually, what we should do is embrace it, embrace change in our lives, being, really, step out of the norm, so to speak. And I think you've mentioned that before. So let's definitely do that. But before we do, let's make sure that we connect everyone with your book. Again, it's Arise from the Shadows. You can purchase on Amazon. We can connect with Dennis right here on DDLOUDEN 2016 @gmail.com. So you can send him a quick message, email, let him know that you heard him here on our platform. We would love that. And also, we want to make sure that you know that we are doing our topic here today, Beyond the Shadows of Procrastination, with author Dennis Louden. So we want to appreciate everyone out there that's listening to us. You know, we've got a lot we can learn from this gentleman, so we want to make sure that we do our commercial very quickly and come right back. So you guys are listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. You are on the news streaming network, the home of Going Bold. And of course, this is the Link to Expert Good Reads Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz. I have my good friend Joanne here with me, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
Well, welcome back to Link to Expert Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz, one of your hosts. I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland, with me. You are on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, the news streaming network.com, home of Going Bold. And we want to thank you all for joining us here today on the Good Reads Show. So we are talking with wonderful author Dennis Louden. We're talking about Beyond the Shadows of Procrastination. We talked about his great book, Arise from the Shadows, which you can purchase there on Amazon. And you certainly want to do it. Before the first part of the show, if you didn't hear it, you got to go back and listen to it because you don't want to miss out. But now we're going to move forward. We're going to talk about change because, gosh, we all are so afraid of change in our life. So often when you hear that word change, everybody freezes. They just go bananas. They're afraid of what's going to happen in their future. But the reality is if we can shift our mindset and we can embrace new and wonderful things into our lives, you'll be surprised at what can happen to you. And Dennis Louden, our author here today, he has done that in his life. And you've come full circle helping people as you've transformed not only your life, but their lives with your wonderful books and words of wisdom. So again, thank you for being on our show here today. We appreciate you.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to go back. I remember the book now.
Okay.
It's Invisible Man. Yes. Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's where I got the title from reading that book is the change in my, the shadow, arising from the shadow from Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Now, you're getting in an area that I really hold close to my heart. Fortunately for me, I had someone in my family who was a personal trainer many, many years ago dealing with personal growth. Mm-hmm. And so I've been a part of personal growth programs many, many years ago. And one thing I learned about personal growth programs is a lot of them teach you how to stand up for yourself and how to step outside of your fears and take a risk. Now, again, because I was U.S. Marine and I was put into some really tough situations, I had to believe in myself regardless of the situation. Procrastination to me, when I think about it, particularly around family and friends, is more in the head and more in fear, which has no purpose in my mind other than stopping you from finding the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can't comprehend that because I think like this. How would you know unless you do it, unless you try? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. If I sit here and say to you, oh, it is because I say so in my head. Oh my goodness, I just ruined the opportunity because I never stepped outside of my head.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's how I see it. So when I'm around my friends or I'm doing a Toastmaster or whatever I'm doing, I always say to people, you never know until you try.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. You never get better until you try. A mistake is part of the process of being successful. You got to make mistakes. If you believe your life is not about making mistakes, you have to be perfect. Good luck on you. Because, when I was an athlete, one of the first things I learned being a marathon runner, that you're not going to be the champion on the first run, but if you keep running, you're going to get better, wiser, smarter, and eventually you'll be the star. Now, in my thinking, when I'm around young people, everyone in the room has the potential. Everybody's a star. They're their own star. But the problem is they got to get out of their head and reach for the light, reach for the star and go after it instead of sitting there wondering when am I going to reach out and touch that star? When am I going to reach out and go that direction in my life? That's procrastination. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Now, put it this way. I create a lot of enemies and I push people. They think I'm being a bully, but I'm not. I'm just being loving where you're not loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because sometimes love has to be tough love. That's how I see it. Now, being in the service, I had to learn that real quick. It's not about me. It's about the bigger picture. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of people that procrastinate, think about the generation after them. Oh, my goodness. You're doing this to your kid. You're doing this to your family. You got this belief system. You're never accomplishing your goals. You're failing. You can never rise out of the shadows. You can't do it because you believe it. And you believe it to the point it become a reality and your life never work. Now, procrastination in my life, I got rid of a long time ago because I had to do those things like being a marathon runner, being a teacher in mathematics, challenging myself in other areas, being a part of programs and things like that. I had to stand up. And yes, I was afraid. But after failure, I'm no longer afraid anymore. So that's all I can tell you about procrastination. It's kind of like die to yourself and then you find, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
Die to your ego. How about that?
Yeah.
Let your ego, leave your ego at the door. You'll be surprised what you'll see once you open that door.
Yeah. I find that when I procrastinate, it's because I'm fearful of something. So then I have to ask myself, wait a minute, why are you not doing this? Why, whatever it is I'm supposed to do, why am I not doing it? And then I realize it's because I'm afraid of whatever maybe the outcome is going to be or whatever, Then I think, well, just push that aside and do it. I mean, I had to write a chapter in a book that was going to be published, and I put it off and put it off and put it off. And then finally I realized, oh my gosh, what are you afraid of?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And I finally sat down and do it, which it was due the next day. I mean, I was like, D time, right? And so I sat down and did it. I think it was actually due that day. And I sat down in the morning, got up early in the morning, and I wrote it. I knocked it out in a half an hour, gave it to her, and she said it was perfect. There was like no changes, nothing. I mean, like, what was I waiting for?
All that energy. Yep.
But so it's fear. It's a lot of times it's fear. And so we have to stop for a minute and ask ourselves, why are we fearful of it? And then usually we can step over that, and then, sometimes too, maybe we have too much on our plate, and then it's organization, right? Then sorting through what we really need to do and what we can throw away, what we can, or give to somebody else to do or something like that. So, yeah. But you are a very smart man. It is great having you on the show here today. I
appreciate that. I'm just down to earth, but I do things on a regular basis every day. But cycling is my heart, just to let you know.
Yeah, that's great. So I know you've written several books. So let's just touch on those real quick because I want to make sure that we've captured everything that you do. Now, I had heard that you wrote a book about diabetes or something. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I almost passed away twice from COVID-19 and diabetes. And I made a promise to myself, once I get out of the hospital, I will do whatever I can to educate others about diabetes. And thank goodness I wrote this book, because I just got a letter. It's not here, but someone's going to give it to me. A lady, 85 years old, thanked me because I saved her life.
Wow.
Yeah, and that made, that I did my job in society, saved her life. So since I ride my bike a lot, this is the book I wrote called Breaking the Cycle of Diabetes. Keep moving and keep living is my motto. That's what I use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this picture here is after I got out of the hospital and dropping like 45 pounds. And that's me on the Tampa Causeway. And the book itself talks about me and my story and pictures of me being in hospital. And I did a lot of research, because my degree is in research about diabetes, how it affects your brain, your emotion, your depression, all sorts of things.
Wow.
And I'll put that information in the book so people can get that. And I also put information so people can get the help they need. So here's a picture of me when I was in the hospital. Of course, back then you had to wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my diabetes story. And that's how this book was developed, so I can help family members and others to learn about diabetes. Because a lot of times people say, well, I have diabetes. They don't really know what it is. They just know what someone told them. So I did a story on the history of what diabetes is all about, how it's affected the body. And I made sure I put my claim. I'm not a doctor in medicine, but I did get the information from medical people assured and gave them respect to sharing that data, in my book.
Yeah, so many people have diabetes. I know diabetes runs in my family. I'm always checked for it, knock on wood, I don't have it, but yeah, so it's prevalent, and people out there do have it, and yeah. So we definitely need to understand it a little bit more and
Absolutely.
definitely be tested for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then you've written the book here that we're talking about here, right? Arise from the Shadows. And have you written any other books, or are you in the process of writing anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I wrote 7 books. I'm a super nerd now. So actually, if you write this down, you can see the books I wrote. It's www.adlproduction1.com. If you can pull that up, you'll see my books.
Production1.com?
Yes, www.
Oh,
let me get it back again. DDL
Production.
D as in David. DDL 2 D's, like my email.
Did I
DDL?
D
There it is. Yeah, you have it.
Production1.com. So if you want it, you guys, if you want to check out all of it.
That's incorrect. Put 2 D's. That's David.
Oh, David. Okay. Let's do this right. We're going to do it. We might as well do it right. Right?
Yes.
We can always do it the second time. So
take the B out.
Oh, it's the B. Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. Just keep on.
It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's my happy fingers.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, DDL, right?
Right. Like my name.
And then
DDL.
production1.com.
Let me see it again with productions with S on it.
Oh, we don't have that.
We'll
get it.
Let me slow down a little bit. There you go.
DDLproductions1.com. So all the books are there. So right. 7 books. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, most of them are like math books for students and medical books for nurses that are trying to get in medical school. Because I used to teach the algebra classes and things like that for the medical students, so they can translate the terms for their medical tests.
Right.
So, yes, I wrote a book for them, particularly for that, because one of the concerns I had, a lot of students just wasn't that good in algebra when they were going to different nursing schools. So that's why I wrote that book for them.
Well, you've done a lot, coming from being a farm boy to a major author.
And there's one more thing I'd like to hit on, if you don't mind, before we have to end. Dennis, you've done an incredible job with the Toastmasters, and I just wanted to hit on that because I think that also helps you with your confidence And I know I've been awarded different things from Toastmasters because I just broke through my, shell, and they really encourage you to. Could you share a little bit about Toastmasters and how it affected your life?
Yes, thank you very much for sharing that. I would like to say this. If you are a young person, please learn either using a public speaking program or go to Toastmasters, because to me, I'm not the best in the world, but I'm the most motivating person you could be around. Toastmaster helped me to get that out.
Mhm.
And when I was, 17, 18 years old, I went to Toastmasters and I wouldn't give up. And because I wouldn't give up, my career went up overnight. I could do things that most people couldn't do because of procrastination and fear. I was able to get it under control and be authentic at 100% at all times. That changed my life. And anyone could do that. I mean, maybe I'm talking a lot, but yes, that Toastmasters, to me, public speaking is everything, because to me, it makes sense. I think like this: if you can't present it, no one know. You got to be able to tell the world, and they got to believe you. And the only way they can believe you, you got to present yourself. And like I say, I'm not the master, but I've been around Toastmasters a long time, and I thank God, I really do. I'm very grateful that I started as a young kid.
And my original mentor was Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. And he always said, do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't.
Yes, I know that. That's a beautiful saying.
And it really sums up a lot about procrastination, as well as confidence and all the things we've been talking about. And so I really appreciate you sharing about the Toastmasters, because I think that's one of the best organizations for you to attend and continue to participate in, to keep your confidence up, to expand your horizons, expand your mind. And you not only for you, but you learn so much from the others that give their presentations. And you get to meet, of course, all these incredible people that are also on that journey with you to be all they're designed to be.
Yes, you are so correct. That's one of the greatest things we have in our society that is not expensive. You take a chance on that, you're taking a big chance to change your destiny.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, gosh, we've learned a lot from you today here, and we just appreciate you so much. So again, all of the books, you just go to www.ddlproductions, productions.com, and one.com. Did I do it wrong? So ddlproductions1.com. So go there, and then you can see all of the books that Dennis has written. And of course, we are talking a lot today. Our major talk was about his latest book here, Arise from the Shadows. And of course, you can purchase that on. Do you have a link on the other one to be able to purchase them too? Or on the
They're on Amazon. A couple of them upgrading, so they should be upgraded at the end of the week.
Okay. So
and you can go to
like
Dr. Dennis Louden.
Yes.
Amazon.
And any questions you have, of course, you can go to Dennis Louden, and that's DDLOUNDEN, and that's 2016 @gmail.com. Did I do it right? DDLOUNDEN 2016 gmail.com.
Because we have some people that just listen.
Yes, and so this is what I put in the middle of my book to share with others. Can you read that?
Oh, yeah, we can see that. Yeah. Discover your value by embracing who you truly are. Your really beautiful shines through your beauty shines when you are true to yourself and express your individually. That's right.
Beautiful.
To me, that's what it's all about. Stop being afraid, stop procrastinating, and let your beauty shine so the world can see beauty for a change.
Yay. Well, thank you, Dennis. Dr. Louden, I appreciate you sharing with us.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure to meet you, sir. And it's so nice coming from another Michigan person. So
Joanne, sell me that car.
We appreciate you very much. So, all right. Well, take care so much. We do appreciate you. All right, everyone. You're listening to Link to Expert Good Reads Author's Corner. I am one of your hosts, Cece Schatz. I have my good friend Joanne Weiland here with me. If you haven't heard of Link to Expert, go check it out. LinktoEXPERT.com. This is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are on the newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Bold. So be sure to check us out. Join us each time, each week, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you.